William Ruto is a very happy man because there's the possibility that Rigathi Gachagua might actually be on the ballot in 2027.
Watu ya DCP wameniambia nipiganie kiti cha urais na niko hapo.
Let me ask you this question. What do you think would be the political implication of Rigathi Gachagua running for the presidency in 2027?
Lakini tungetaka tuambie Wakenya wasikuwe na wasiwasi. Sio kusema kusimama kwangu inaweza gawanya upinzani. Sisi tuko wengi sana. Tuko na Dr. Kalonzo Musyoka, tuko na Fred Matiang'i, tuko na Martha Karua, tuko na Eugene Wamalwa, tuko na Justin Muturi, tuko Fred Matiang'i na kila mtu na mimi.
Will Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka support him if he's the presidential candidate? Because in a contest for the united opposition ticket, I doubt if Matiang'i or Kalonzo can stop Rigathi Gachagua. The question is, if Rigathi were to run today, what would be the political implication?
Sasa nataka kuuliza, muniunge mkono nisimame rais nifukuza huyu Kasongo. Harambee! Harambee! Wangapi wanasema Rigiji apigania kiti ya urais? Harambee!
And Rigathi Gachagua is actually promising to teach President William Ruto serious political lessons. I've always opined on this platform that if there's one politician who is the biggest threat to the president, is none other than Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua can either make William Ruto the president in 2027 or he can make him one term.
And by the way, I don't want to brag, but I want to tell William Ruto, you don't know any politics. You know nothing. I'll teach you politics next year.
Yes, ndio? Wewe ni mtu umesoma mambo ya matawi. Unafikiria unajua mambo mingi sana. Your strength was conmanship and deception. Kenyans have now exposed you as somebody who is deceptive and a conman. You have no other quality ya kudanganya wa Kenya. Mimi nitaungana na Wakenya wenzangu, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Dr. Fred Matiang'i.
I'm saying this because if you've been studying the the voting pattern in the Republic of Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua is the biggest threat.
If that IBC tries to mess with the election,
okay,
there will be no country here. 207 will look like a Christmas party. I can tell you. And I want to implore those commissioners to be Kenyans, to be patriotic, and not to attempt to force William Ruto on the people of Kenya. It will not work. The people of Kenya will not accept it. People want change, and they are ready for change. Indeed, they are impatient.
But his latest announcement that is likely to be on the ballot is actually sweet music to the ears of the president. In this video, I want to reveal to you guys why William Ruto is very happy with the possibility of Rigathi Gachagua running for the presidency in 2027. Before I do that, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Ladies and gentlemen, the first reason why William Ruto is very happy is the elusive opposition unity. If the united opposition can team up with Linda Wananchi and produce a single presidential candidate, I can assure you, I can bet William Ruto will go home very early in the morning. Everybody knows that when it comes to numbers, the opposition has the numbers. The only challenge is their unity. Now, let me ask you this question. I just want us to remove the emotions and look at it. In the opposition today, who who do you think should fly their flag? Let me just read the comments below because it's very important. It's going to answer what I want to ask you. Let me give you the name. If on that ballot paper for the opposition you are given, then you have Edwin Sifuna as a presidential candidate. You have Kalonzo Musyoka, you have Fred Matiang'i, and you also have Rigathi Gachagua, the four. Who would you prefer to fly the flag? Who out of those four? I know most of you guys will either pick Rigathi or Sifuna. But rest assured, there are also those who will pick Matiang'i and Kalonzo. But the truth of the matter is that Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka must be on the ballot in 2027. And that's why Rigathi can easily say that for him, he can support any other person. Kalonzo must be on the ballot. If Kalonzo will not be on the ballot, he's going to support President Ruto. For Sifuna, he can easily support someone else. But his supporters, even you who support Sifuna, you'll be more comfortable with Sifuna being on the ballot than any other person. Rigathi Gachagua is saying it publicly that he is willing to give room for anybody to fly the flag.
Hakikisho yangu ni kwamba zote tutaketi pamoja, tusikizane, tutoe kiongozi mmoja wa kupambana na William Ruto uchaguzi ujao. And I want to promise the people of Kenya that Rigathi Gachagua cannot be the dividing factor in the quest for one presidential candidate. Mimi nina matumaini na ninaomba wateue mimi. Naona nimetosha. Lakini kama haitawezekana, isemekane ni mwingine, ndio tuweze kutoa huyu jamaa, mimi nitamuunga mkono. So we want to clarify to the people of Kenya that our objective, our plan, our quest to have one single presidential candidate still stands.
But politically speaking, his allies will sit down and look at the numbers. 5 million votes. They will advise him to run. And based on what I'm following in the petition, the government might pave way for him to run. If that were to happen, do you think the opposition will produce a single presidential candidate? They might end up with the two candidates, Kalonzo and Sifuna, or Kalonzo and Rigathi. Tell me how they will defeat Ruto. And tell me why Ruto will not be happy if Rigathi will be on the ballot. That's number one. Number two, it also gives William Ruto the opportunity. Number two, it also gives President William Ruto the opportunity to negotiate with Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka for two things. Either for post-2027 election. Because one thing is clear, William Ruto, even if he were to win the presidency, will not have majority of seats in Parliament, Senate. So which means after the election, he will attempt to reach out to some political leaders. You can be assured, Kalonzo, if you want to win the presidency, I'm not saying he won't win, but he can win. But in case he won't win and Ruto wins, Kalonzo will have MPs elected on Wiper, mostly from the Kampa Nation. He will negotiate with Ruto. So Ruto is looking up for that. But importantly, there is going to be a rerun. I want to tell you one thing, that as long as Kalonzo will be on the ballot, William Ruto will be on the ballot, and let's say a third one, either Matiang'i or Sifuna or even Rigathi, the three on the ballot, none of them will garner 50% plus one vote. That would force a rerun. So, politics is a game of numbers. You can be sure that if Rigathi will be on the ballot, he can either become number one or number two. That's a fact. Then Kalonzo will become number three. Because Ruto will either become number 1 or number 2. Kalonzo will become number 3. Out of anger, because Kalonzo Musyoka and the team will feel that they've been betrayed, they'll go and support William Ruto. Or William Ruto will move very fast and secure their support. I'm saying this because it's on record. Kalonzo Musyoka's allies saying that they are willing to work with Ruto. It is on record that Kalonzo Musyoka made it very clear and publicly that the united opposition must produce their presidential candidate, must name their presidential candidate the first quarter of the year, which ended. The reason he was doing that, because he knew that Rigathi was going to run. Rigathi responded at that time that they'll produce or they'll name their candidate towards the tail end. That's dangerous. So Ruto is looking for Kalonzo to feel betrayed so that he can enter into some negotiations with him, either post or pre. But I'm looking at rerun. Number 3 is the Nairobi politics. If there's one thing which is giving William Ruto serious political headache, it's Nairobi politics. The truth of the matter is that if Kalonzo and Matiang'i were together, these guys will lock Nairobi. They will lock Nairobi completely. In fact, the biggest loser in Nairobi is going to be ODM. Because if Kalonzo brings the Kamba vote and Rigathi brings the Kikuyu votes, they can win all the constituencies in Nairobi. That's something which is giving Ruto serious headache, because Ruto don't want a situation where the governor of Nairobi becomes or comes from his party. Majority of MCS and MPs. So that he can play his politics without much problem. And importantly, and this is the most important thing, if Rigathi will run, Kalonzo will run, and say Sifuna will run, it's going to give William Ruto easy time to execute any rigging schemes, if there were. If he's planning to rig, it's going to be easy, because if we have only 2 candidates, strong ones, it's very difficult to win. To rig. But if there are many, you can take votes, like what they did for Raila in the last election. They can take votes from Kalonzo, give to Sifuna. Get votes from Sifuna, give to, just to balance some equation. It's very possible. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to think. But Rigathi Gachagua running for the presidency is actually falling into William Ruto's trap. The truth is, he can easily win, but if the other opposition will rally behind him. The question is, can they rally behind Rigathi Gachagua, one of my favorite politicians in the Republic of Kenya today? Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.